Welcome back. So let's talk about natural hazards and disasters as it pertains to Arizona, shall we? Touched on this a little bit in the previous video. Are we safe from natural hazards here in Arizona? And if not, what sort of hazards do we have here? Well, again, I touched on it a little bit in the previous video, but there's probably more than you might think. So some of those natural hazards include flash floods, very common. Severe thunderstorms cause a lot of damage. Remember, hazards don't necessarily have to be just to life. It can be to property, economic value. Landslides, we got a lot of those. Earthquakes, we get a bunch of those. Smaller ones, but we get them nonetheless. Wildfires, oh my goodness. Drought, well, obviously it's dry. Volcanism, there's volcanoes everywhere in Arizona. Been to Flagstaff, all of those mountains, all of those hills, every single one of them, volcano. A couple hundred of them up there. And the heat and the cold. Remember, just because we live here doesn't mean we live in the Phoenix area. Doesn't necessarily mean, everywhere else is hot. Flagstaff gets cold. And these are obviously just some to name a few. Now, these are the hazards, okay? But when it comes to disasters, 10 or more deaths, 100 or more people injured, economic damage, international assistance, hitting one of those criteria, which one of these do you think is the top natural disaster in Arizona? Maybe, in this case, not surprisingly, wildfires. Wildfires. Those are natural disasters. Now, as far as natural disasters in Arizona are concerned, we've had 73 declared disasters since 1953. That ranks 15th in the U.S. So, wow, past half a century, 15 out of 50. That's pretty high up there. More than half of Arizona's declared disasters have been related to wildfires. We've had last year alone, this is in 1 year, 2020, over 2,500 wildfires. Let me just do the math on that real quick. So 2,500 divided by 300, that's about 6 or 7 new wildfires every day on average last year. That's what occurred last year. 6 or 7 new wildfires every day, if they were to occur every day. Typically, wildfire season is kind of compressed into the summer months. But if you just average it out, that's like saying, there's 6 or 7 new wildfires every day started in Arizona. More than 1,900 of those were caused by humans. Go figure. The rest usually caused by lightning. So far this year, over 1,100 wildfires have occurred in Arizona as of August. We'll probably be a little bit behind last year. Last year was a big year. The largest wildfire in Arizona was the Wallow Fire, happened 10 years ago in 2011. Consumed more than 816 square miles of a state. That's of Arizona. That's an area more than half the size of Rhode Island. That just boggles the mind. 816 square miles. So anyway, wildfires are the number one disaster. 14 Arizona floods have reached the level of disaster in the recent decades as well. So flooding comes second. We do get a lot of flooding. Even in the dry area, if we get a lot of rain real quick, there's nowhere for that water to go. It doesn't really soak into the hard, dry ground too well. It flows off, creating floods. So, a little bit of what we got going on in Arizona. And this unit's more like a once-over. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and pause here. When we come back, something odd to think about. Benefits of natural hazards. There's benefits to these things. So in each unit, we'll kind of talk about, a lot of the bad of these hazards. But sometimes there's some benefits. Sometimes things you might not think of. We'll explore that as well. So we'll pause here. I'll see you back here in just a second.